Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 72 of the Own the Moment podcast. My name is TJ Lasig. I'm one of the co-founders here at OTM, and we are back for another edition of the Owners Club Strategy Show. Plenty to touch on tonight. We've got the NFL coming to Dapper, which we are going to discuss just briefly tonight. Mostly, we're going to be diving into the Owners Club Strat Show, and with me, as always, first we've got the Herzig Bot himself, Justin. What's going on?
Doing well. I think Vikes fan is right. I'm not really sure we really need to have a show tonight. Not much has really been happening around the industry. It's been pretty slow. We'll trudge on through this just lack of excitement and news or information or anything.
Just another slow week in the world of NFTs, in the world of football. Bach, how are we tonight, my friend?
Doing good. Coming off of the Ryder Cup win this weekend. It was pretty awesome to see. US set a record. I know, TJ, you were napping or something last week, so hopefully you caught Justin and I's outfits on the show, but got to cheer on the USA. My Bengals, Cincinnati, you can only see half the word, playing on Thursday night. So pretty pumped for the sports week this week.
That sure would help me because Cincinnati is the word that I misspelled the most. Like, it doesn't matter the N's, the T's, like always mixing it up. And with like football, I'm always having to type it or something. I need and I even reverse psychology. You're like, okay, so I know I'm going to mess it up. So I go with this one, but then I actually had it. I need a shirt.
Playing game theory with himself. Like how do I think I should spell it? And based on that, how should I actually spell it? I did. I watched your guys' show last week, of course, as you know. And yeah, my first thing, I was like 5 seconds into watching it. I was like, guys, what are you wearing? Before I even saw the explanation about the Ryder Cup, I was like, what is this madness that's going on right now? But I thought you guys did a fantastic job. And, maybe I could just take Wednesday nights off in the future and you guys could handle it yourselves and do whatever you want. But anyways, I digress. All right, let's get into it here. We're going to touch on all the latest news regarding the Owners Club, and they've got the pre-order pack wrapping up tonight. I guess the first thing I do want to say briefly is that, yes, NFL, Dapper, massive news. We're not going to dive super deep into that tonight. We're going to save that for next Monday in the kickoff show, but maybe we can get some rapid reactions from you guys on, besides, yes, this is awesome. It's going to be amazing. But Justin, what's your first thought? Let's not spoil too much for Monday. But
we did say we didn't want to spend too much because this is at least an entire episode, probably an entire show, like each week of the year on it. There's so much to unravel. We're so pumped. We've been waiting for this. We've been watching the news, been watching them kind of the teases, the football emojis that Roham has been putting out there. We are pumped because football has always been our passion. It's the thing we far know more about than basketball. Maybe Bachman knows a ton about basketball, but at least for me and for TJ, I know we've been far more on the NFL side. So to be able to see, and then I think the other thing is the Top Shot was never that level playing field because people got in at different points, and there was always that kind of just, lack of playing field that people felt, and that won't be the case here. They're without a doubt, Top Shot's going to learn from all their lessons. Or Dapper Labs is going to learn from all the lessons with Top Shot. There might be some people who get like early adopter and like an early, but they're not going to have like these legendary or very valuable stuff when you're not open to the larger public. And so overall, this is amazing news. We are extremely pumped. It's going to bring hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people into this space, into the space of NFTs. Everyone that's here, you guys, we've been into fantasy football and NFTs, early. We've got the head start. This is just going to help the Owners Club continue to grow as more people are introduced to this space. So, it's going to be a fun year one, but holy crap, year two of the Owners Club is going to be crazy when so many people kind of just spill over from the NFL Dapper into this space. And that's going to make your Generation 1 cards look pretty nice.
Without a doubt. Bach, any quick thoughts on NFL and Dapper?
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll add to what Justin said, I was thinking about this, they don't have to reinvent the wheel here, right? They basically just get to copy the infrastructure, copy what they've already done for Top Shot and do it for NFL. And the manifestation is probably going to be slightly different. But they've already worked out most of the kinks. They've already learned a ton from their mistakes. like we're starting from such a high foundation that the onboarding process is probably going to be pretty huge in terms of getting people into the ecosystem. We know NFL's big, but they're going to be much closer to ready to turn on mass marketing quickly because they've got such a foundation from the initial like learnings of, a year of Top Shot. So I think that was the thing that really struck me this morning. And so I was in the new Discord that they put together, talking with some people about it, is just how like we all worn through those growing pains on Top Shot, and there's going to be some, I'm sure, in this new product, but there's just such a high floor because of the foundation they've built.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think the thing that I'm most pumped about, and one of the things that Justin mentioned, is that level playing field. Kind of everyone's starting at the same pace. There's no, because you found out about it earlier than everyone, you got all the, whatever the NFL equivalent of the Cosmic Packs is going to be. So really pumped about that, and just excited that everyone in this group is on the forefront of NFL and NFTs. And that brings us to the Owners Club. So for tonight's show, going to talk through, kind of make sure everyone's up to date on what's going on in terms of the pre-orders, in terms of the pack drop, and just the announcements that we had this week. And then we're going to recap what we saw from the Owners Club last week, and then get into our weekly position by position breakdown, talk through who Justin and Bach's top teams of the week are, give you guys our all Joker optimal lineup, talk through how our all Joker lineup did last week. And then we've got some fun at the end with our prize picks parlay of the week, introduction to Thrive Fantasy, and then spinning the wheel for some overdue giveaways here. So a lot to unpack, and let's go ahead and get into it. So just in terms of what we have going on at TOC right now, the pre-order packs have been released since Tuesday night. You have until midnight to make sure that you claim your pre-orders. We've seen some things where people maybe didn't get their email. If you did not get your email, go into your account and click on your activity tab, and then from there go to other. You should see your pre-order link there. If you do not, you can definitely go into the Discord, open up a support ticket, and we'll make sure that you get taken care of. But regardless, I saw people in the Discord like, oh, did I miss out? Like your pre-order, if you made your pre-order, it will definitely get taken care of here. So make sure that you go into the Discord, raise that ticket, and we'll get you squared away before the weekend. And then we also announced earlier this week, for those of you that may have missed it, the 3 contests that we're going to be adding upcoming. So there will be the Better Late Than Never for people that joined the pre-order pack drop. You will have a single entry tournament, 10K up for grabs there. And then for the remaining weeks, we're going to be adding a low ball tournament where the worst score wins. So all of a sudden the floor cards become ceiling cards in that game. And then we are also going to have the Island of Misfit cards where, just in the side hustle, like tight end and defense are just left out. They just never get played. And so this is where they can really shine, give some extra value to those tight ends and defenses that you guys are holding on to, and play that 2-card game there. I think that covers it for the news. Justin Bach, anything that I missed?
I think that's the main things. I will say keep an eye on the announcements channel tomorrow morning, because we have a nice little opportunity we're going to provide to the community before the public sale tomorrow. But that's all I can say.
Love it. All right. Let's talk about last week a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, share my screen here, and let's check out the final standings that we saw for week 3. So definitely a week that was dominated by Josh Allen at the quarterback position for Buffalo. Massive game from Cooper Kupp with the Los Angeles team. And we got the winning of the live final seat, defenseless Barnacle, Justin Bach. What do you guys think about last week in general and the lineup that ended up taking it down?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super interesting when you look at this lineup, right? You have essentially you don't have a stack. You've got a solo quarterback, which I think for most weeks, it's hard to hit on the top quarterback and, not have any of his pass catchers in the lineup. So I think this is going to be one of those rare weeks where you see kind of an unstacked quarterback win. And it wasn't even because Josh Allen did it all with his legs, right? He had mostly passing touchdowns. He had one rushing touchdown. But, as you look at the top of the leaderboard, a ton of Josh Allen, and he was someone coming off 2 bad games, was a bit of a contrarian play. Washington's defense was supposed to be good on paper. Through 3 games, they've been the easiest defense to score on from the quarterback position, but coming into the year, supposed to be good on paper. So I think kind of a unique lineup here. I did like to see, a few of our picks hitting from last week. Justin called the Cowboys running backs, Los Angeles Rams wide receivers. So, it makes me feel like we a little bit know what we're doing over here.
I don't know. Was it last week that I was yelling at you for not having Buffalo as one of your top 3, or was that the week before?
I think that was the week before.
All right. Well, the week before I would have been wrong. Last week I would have been right. Win some, you lose some. But and I mean, hey, once again, and I think one thing that we really weren't 100% positive about, but Bach and I felt pretty strongly that there wouldn't be like these major tie issues in the main event, and that continues to kind of prove out. Even here, like, you definitely have overlap, but you're really not seeing like a ton, not seeing tiebreakers come into play for this main event, which I think is great. If we go over to this side hustle, that's where that game theory and strategy really just keeps coming into play.
Oh, I guess I got to go to the next tweet. There we go. There it is. Justin? Oh. Yeah, so
I was talking to this other person in my house and trying to put my hand over. I do that.
I noticed that. I was looking here and I was like, is he going to talk? And then I saw that you were on mute, and then I saw that you had your mouth covered, and then I was like, I can talk about the fact that everyone played a Buffalo stack, and even though the Herzig bot has said in the past that if you don't have a super low combination serial and you are playing a quarterback wide receiver combination in the side hustle, you are literally going to be drawing dead at the ability to win. So sure, these people could have made 500 or 250, and that's great. But aside from Jay, sick username, by the way, I can't believe we even – how do we even allow that? We should not allow a one-letter username. But we have way bigger fish to fry. We have way bigger fish to fry than how many minimum characters. Yeah, but that's Jay. Good for Jay. It almost seems like a typo. But this really does this really does bring up that concept of, especially with a Buffalo or any of the other, super popular teams, whether you're looking at a Seattle or a Kansas City, like, these stacks are going to be duplicated, and then it's going to come down to that serial tie. So, Justin, now that you are off of mute, you can dive a little further.
No, it's funny. And I think Jay is actually someone in Discord. I'm not 100% positive, so I won't say the name, but I'm pretty sure he DM'd me and is like, hey, yeah, I'm the one that has the 31 combo. I bought them off the secondary markets to play them. And like, that's sharp. If you've got the lowest combo, when that Buffalo stack goes off, like, you're more than, let's see, I would guess that he probably made up for what he paid for in the secondary market with the $500. If not that much, at least he's probably about break even. So strong there. But then again, when you look at down there at 402 and 298, like, you're all like, if those guys above you are going to keep playing, and at least the 31 and 46 and probably 72, maybe 292, like, are going to keep playing it, your upside's really limited. So it's tough because, hey, $250 is still fantastic for a little 2-card side hustle. But maybe there's some strategy you want to mix up or something. I don't know. Well, we've said what we said.
Yeah, I think that's the sharp strategy. And the other note, I saw some people commenting here. This is we're continuing to improve the site, and the leaderboard will get closer and closer to looking like this. So, spoiler alert for the future. New UI is coming. I saw someone else also comment about the research tab. Definitely many, many more incremental improvements to come. We're trying to work on the big ticket items at the moment, but just so you know, this is going to be the slickness that is coming your guys' way sooner than later. And shout out to the design team for this.
So we got Brian here in chat, number 46. So my question for you is, Brian, are you going to try to upgrade one of those QB wide receivers to get down to 30 or lower? Because what's the cost to upgrade? I'm not sure, but I think if you could find one of those people and maybe find him in, maybe make a trade, maybe throw in a couple other cards. Like, I think throughout the season, we're going to see this kind of leveling up with these stacks and the low cereals.
And then what do you guys think about the general? Obviously worked out for Mike Jamarcus at the top here, going with Buffalo and Los Angeles. Do you think that putting together two random combinations, uncorrelated combinations like that makes any sense? If it's two good plays, like what are your general thoughts on that as well? Should it be a quarterback and an opposing wide receiver so that there's some correlation? Or is it just a matter of, hey, I have these cards and I'm trying to figure out how to best allocate them across the different contests that I have available to me here?
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Allen was, again, a bit of a contrarian play. Josh Allen's never going to be too much of a contrarian play because we saw what he did last year coming in as one of the MVP favorites, but hadn't played well in 2 games. On paper, a bit of a tough matchup. But again, Josh Allen, and then you throw in with one of the highest projected wide receivers, it's a little bit more random to hit, but it's probably more likely to hit than it is be duplicated because it's so random. And that's, the thing we always talk about with upside. Now, these tournaments are not that top heavy from a payout perspective. And so there is, again, as Justin called out, great upside to having your Josh Allen stack still cash for 250, right? Like, that's a great outcome. But if you're going for first, then picking 2 individually high upside plays and thinking about a game script where they both do well individually and don't get outscored because you think Josh Allen's going to have a couple rushing touchdowns, takes them away from his wide receivers, or they're going to throw one to Dawson Knox like they did this week. Again, it's probably less random for this to be successful than it is to be duplicated.
Yeah. And the Scottish Bear referenced something a little to what I'm going to reference, but I think it makes sense when you have a QB who, as we have here, rushing upside, or the tight end. So QBs that are not just going to get all their points from wide receivers. So let's say, hey, I think Gerald Everett's going to be out this week. I wouldn't want to maybe do Seattle with a random, because if Seattle QB Russell Wilson goes off this week, it's likely going to be through his wide receivers. So maybe you find a QB who has that rushing upside, or the tight end. I think Patrick Mahomes, I think that Kansas City is a perfect example. Then for the wide receivers, if you can focus on wide receivers where they don't have that QB who, Matt Stafford's a great example where Matt Stafford's not going to get rushing upside. He's not going to, I guess you do have Tyler Higbee, so he can get some there, but he's not going to get much with his running backs either with Darrell Henderson out. So you're really capitalizing on both sides, where with QB, you have solitary upside where they can get substantial points without their wide receiver stack partner also. And the wide receiver, do they have ability to grab as many as possible of the QB's points without him, the QB, getting additional points without them?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I think in daily fantasy sports, stacking is certainly a common strategy by now, but it's almost sometimes even escalated in our game because 6-point passing touchdowns. So it's pretty much a direct one-to-one of your wide receiver and your quarterback getting points. And then B, obviously the fact that you get all of the wide receivers. So you don't have to get the quote unquote right stack, right? You don't have to stack the quarterback with the wide receivers. You have to just stack them with any of them. So yeah, definitely agree with the points on the rushing QBs and the tight ends as well. All right, guys. Should we jump into this week?
Yeah, let's just really quickly, because our 5 joker lineup for last week. I'm just going to share my screen.
Yeah,
I didn't actually have the slide, but shout out to Third Eye here. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Scrolling a little bit would be ideal.
All right, I'll zoom in just a little. But shout out to Third Eye here, who played our lineup. So smart. Would have cashed for 250 this week, despite a really poor score from the Seattle quarterback position. The other 4 positions, I think Cleveland was the top scoring. Los Angeles was the top scoring. Kansas City was the second top scoring, and Denver was the top scoring. So pretty good optimal lineup for us. Would have cashed for 250. Obviously it's easier for us to make that lineup because we don't have to own the cards. But pretty good outcome. And, we're now two big cashes in a row. So.
and he had no jokers in his. That was a all natural lineup. And props to you for the LAR one there. That was a very strong one. Obviously, ton of points there. My Kansas City one was too easy. The running back one was nice.
And in Denver, I think we've picked all 3 weeks. No, we picked it 2 weeks in a row. But.
I mean, that was just that was the nut matchup. Just too easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into it. So as we do every week, we're going to go through position by position, talk through the top teams of the week, and we are going to go ahead and start with the quarterback position. And I think we're going to have some controversy tonight. If I was reading the Slack correctly, I think I'm excited. I actually am heating up my popcorn as we speak because I'm ready to go. Bach, start us off.
Trying to veto all of my picks.
Justin already wants to talk first, even though this is your section. He's doing the thing where he has to cover his mouth again, except this time he's not on mute. Like he's ready to go. He's not happy. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm willing to debate. So I got Tampa Bay. I think that that high team total. It's projected to be a 7-point game, but look, Tom Brady's going to come in and just go absolutely nuclear on New England. And no matter what Bill Belichick tries to do to stop him, it's not going to matter. He's just going to come in and dominate. There's going to be so much revenge game narrative, greatest of all time narrative, playing in New England narrative. He might put up 100 points on his own this week. I think second, Los Angeles, again, high team total. I forget exactly. I think they're 5th or 6th in terms of total team total this week. 5th in terms of team total. They're also the highest team in the league in terms of pass rate over expectation, and it's not close, meaning they throw the ball in every scenario ever. That's all they want to do is throw the ball, and that it's going to be a competitive game script. It's going to be so I think Los Angeles, and they just came off that huge win over Kansas City. Justin Herbert's confidence is going to be sky high, and then Los Angeles as well. Both Los Angeles teams this week. For the Los Angeles Cardinals game, we've got 3rd highest team total. Again, projected to be a pretty competitive game, division game. They don't have running backs. They're throwing the ball a ton, and it's going to be and Matt Stafford might be the MVP favorite right now. I'm not sure what the odds say, but he's certainly Kyler. Okay, well, Matt Stafford's got a chance to dethrone him this week, so. And then for a sleeper, again, I like to go way off the board for the sleepers, not your 5th best team, but kind of something no one's going to be playing. I like Atlanta a little bit this week. The team total is not great by any stretch of the imagination, but they're playing Washington. Washington's given up the most points to the quarterback position so far this season. Atlanta's been absolutely terrible. No one's going to play them, but they have to throw the ball in order to succeed. And at some point, I think they're going to get off the schneid, and I think it could be this week against Washington, an inviting matchup. So,
okay. I just want to ask a couple questions.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
No comments, just questions. Not counting this week, but just in general, who would you say would be the 1 and 2 QB cards? Not just in general.
I mean, I think Mahomes and probably Kyler or Josh Allen.
Okay. Yeah, I think those are a fair 3. And then usually we trust do you care about what Vegas says about projected points and how many points a team is supposed to
pick
score?
Buffalo, and that's fine. And they're 15.5-point favorites. They might not throw a pass in the second half. Houston is awful. They're terrible.
And usually for this game, we want to choose teams that don't really utilize their running backs much, right?
Their pass rate over expectation is not that high.
I mean,
they're about league average.
And then I guess I still have flashbacks from week 16 last season when Buffalo was playing New England. I think they were up 31-6 or something and just continue to throw. I just don't believe this narrative anymore about, in the football of hey, teams when they're up are just going to slow it down and start running and such. Maybe in the second half of the fourth quarter or such. But if that's the case, they've already put up a ton of points and it's probably Josh Allen who got him there. So I think Buffalo and Kansas City, both teams that are projected to score the most points on the entire slate, 31.75 and 30.75. The 2 quarterbacks that are arguably, one finished second in the MVP last year, 2 of the 3 most valuable cards, and we're not going to put them when their teams are expected to score 30 plus. Faux pas, Bachman. Faux pas.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're not going to not play Buffalo. You're not going to not play Kansas City. But I think that there are reasons why Josh Allen has a high floor for sure. There's a path to a low ceiling this week. Like there's a path to a massive ceiling, but there's a path to a low ceiling. And I think there's more of a path to a low ceiling for him. Low pass rate over expectation in a game script where they shouldn't have to pass, right? There's a path to a lower ceiling than there are some of the guys in this game. You know, Mahomes, I think I considered Mahomes certainly against any of these three guys. And I saw Ryan's comment about Narrative Street, completely understand, buying into the Brady narrative. He's probably the only guy that I would buy into the narrative on.
Corey's got your back, Bob.
But I think
that the obvious chalk.
No, that's a backhanded compliment. That's saying we are okay with your answers, even though they're not the best ones. Like,
man, after this week, Justin's gonna be like, "Hey, can we change the graphics to make it clear that Bachman picked these QBs and that I have?"
No, this
can
is what we're
can we
gonna
put
do.
a disclaimer on the bottom? This was not Herzig bot approved.
We got this. Okay.
Running backs.
Bachman, you chose 3.
Oh, we're still doing this.
I'm choosing 2. Highest score wins. Let's make a little friendly wager. My Buffalo and Kansas City versus your top 3 picks.
Okay, great. I'm very
loser.
Confident.
We'll figure it out. Might be next first round of golf at the bachelor party or something. We'll see.
I was gonna say the user has to, do a rap on the podcast. Okay, heading over to running backs, Justin.
Okay,
let's dive into the running back selections here.
Running backs, and I'm not afraid to go with chalk because I think chalk is a reason for it's chalky because it's usually correct.
Just so you know, these are the same teams he picked last week. Literally the exact same.
I mean, if you look at these matchups, and it makes sense. And I think all 3 went off and probably finished top 3 out of the 5. I'm not sure. They all did very well. So if we look this week, so we're talking 3 teams. Let's start with Dallas. It is no longer just the Zeke backfield. We are probably looking at a bit more of like a 60-40 split with Tony Pollard. That is it's basically what we've seen. It's maybe Cleveland light with regards to the running game. And then they're both being used in the passing game too. I mean, we still don't have Michael Gallup. I still think you're just going to get increased utilization there. When we talk about Dallas, we're talking 4.5 point favorite, 27.5 projected in a game that just, we expect there to be high scoring. Even Robbie Anderson from Carolina has done very well this year and has been able to put up points. So I think this is going to be a high scoring game. And last 2 weeks, Dallas running backs have gone off. Yes, this could be the week that the passing game kind of does it, but I'm making my bets that those 2 guys are still going to be heavily involved. Cleveland, same thing here. Anytime you think it's a good game environment, their defense without a doubt showed up last week, which is great for their running game. Here they're going against Minnesota. Minnesota has been putting up a ton of points. I think this is going to be a bit of a shootout here. We've got Cleveland as a 2-point favorite, a little more than 26 projected. So not the best game script. But Justin has all 3. I don't have any cards.
I know. I thought it was a pretty good joke.
Gosh, I wish I could pump my bags. Okay. But yeah, I mean, just if you have these cards, they're working into your lineups. My thing is if you have like multiple of these cards or you have like 3 and you're trying to decide between the 2, well, then then you're doing this wrong. You need to go get more cards to complement them to get more lineups in. Because all 3 of these, if you have them, should be being played each week. And then Tennessee, Derrick Henry, now that he's not coming off the field, he's actually still being used in the passing game, which, yes, we don't care about like the PPR aspect of this, but what we do care about is that an amazing talent is actually being used in open space. I think it was last week, the week before, there was a play where on the bottom side of the field, they had a screen, 3 linemen downfield, and Derrick Henry wasn't touched for 15 yards. Then when he finally does get touched, he gets an extra 10 or so. I'm always going to be looking at Tennessee here when there's positive game script, and here you're going against one of arguably the worst defense in the league with the Jets, 7-point favorites, 26-point total. Like this could be, and yes, it could be a blowout. Maybe they try to rest Henry a little, but I'm still thinking, hey, if it is a blowout, they put out those 30 points and Henry probably has at least 2 TDs. So I'm going to call that these 3 cards, all 3 will see at least 2 at least 2 touchdowns from their running backs. It's going to be a big week for them. And the sleeper here's Washington. You've got once again, it's a double backfield with McKissick and Gibson. We saw Gibson kind of unload a little this past week. But I just don't think Atlanta's able to really stop them. And, Washington's defense has not been scary at all. Same reason that Bachman chose Atlanta, because he could see Atlanta kind of putting up points. I could see this just being a kind of a bit more higher scoring game than you're used to in the past with Washington. I'm still a big Gibson believer. He's got that breakout talent. He had that play up the sideline where just no one can catch him. So if they can continue to increase his usage, that's going to be a plus for the team in that running back card.
Love it. Love it. I think we'll have you guys swap next week too, positions, right?
That's what Bachman asked for. He was like, these are too hard. Give me the easy ones.
That's not what I said. I said, I don't have to do any work if I just get to pick the same 3 teams every week and take a week off. All right. We'll touch on wide receivers again. I'm sure Justin's going to want me to put Buffalo on here. That's fine. He can want what he wants. We've got Tampa Bay. I think that, like I said, I think Tampa Bay is going to go off. I think that Belichick is going to be keying on Gronk, and I think that they've got a path to the wide receivers being successful here. Brady's going to be spreading the ball over the field. I think that's going to be a great week for them. I actually like Dallas wide receivers this week. And I know that, the running backs looked great last week, but watching that game, the running backs had 10 yards of space before anyone from Philadelphia touched them. They didn't actually look that good. They weren't forcing a ton of missed tackles. There was just so much space. And yeah, Dallas's offensive line is great, and they're going to do well against Carolina, but Carolina's given up fewest running back points in the league. Granted, they haven't really played anyone yet, but their defense is built to stop the run. Their secondary is not as strong, and they're missing one of their starters. And so I could see this being, a week where Dallas, like high pass rate over expectation team in general, and they throw the ball to their wide receivers, and they, kind of force Carolina forces them to put it in the air, and they do well. And then the Los Angeles wide receivers, again, same thing we already talked about. I think it's going to be a shootout against Arizona. I think that they're going to be. I think they're going to have another great week. 47, probably not a fair expectation, but I think they're going to do well. And then for a sleeper, Carolina, I think there's a couple of things here. One, like they're projected to be trailing against Dallas. Dallas has not been good on defense anywhere all season, and so I think that they're looking like it's not a super high total, but they're going to be trailing. Christian McCaffrey is out. And so I think that they're going to put the ball in the air more. And they've got a little bit of a squeaky wheel situation with Robbie Anderson. So, again, as a kind of sleeper pick, I like Carolina to potentially make some noise this week.
I like those. I like the Dallas analysis. It was definitely the one I was kind of most iffy on of my 3 for the same reason that you were saying. And I think I alluded to it. I could definitely see this turning into hey, Dak needs to pass a bunch. I think that Zeke Pollard will be a part of that, but could very much see it being a CD Lamb, Murray Cooper kind of game. And if I was playing DFS, I think that's a strong stack I would definitely look at, is that double stack. And then if I'm doing, prize picks or prize picks, live fantasy, one of these kind of prop ones, I'd be looking at the overs for that game. Because as you're saying, a lot of passing between Carolina and Dallas, it makes sense. So I like those. But yeah, without a doubt, Buffalo needs to be in here. I'm okay with you not including Kansas City just because of usage. But when your team's projected to score 32 points and there's virtually, I don't want to say virtually, there's definitely a risk of touchdowns with Josh Allen, and maybe you get like a Zach Moss. But in general, you've just got 3-4 great wide receivers that are going to be putting up at least, 2, 3, maybe even 4+ touchdowns. They got to be in here. It doesn't matter how chalky they are.
Love it. Love the descent. If you're on box side, like the stream for sure. And then,
if you're on Justin's side, like the stream.
On Justin's side, like the stream. I think that's really the only way to settle this argument. So based on that, that's how we'll determine who wins. Justin, let's hit the tight end. I'm going to guess that Kansas City tight end is number 1. Let's see.
I'm going to guess it's the first one. Yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, I think he's had like 2 touchdowns or 100 yards in every game so far. Like, it's insane.
Every time. I mean, I feel like he hasn't even had like standout games, but it's still just very good.
Maybe he hasn't had 2 touchdowns. Maybe just 100 yards. I'm going to look at his stats real quick.
I think the first game he might have had 2. Yeah,
he did have 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So 2 touchdowns.
Like I know from DraftKings scoring, he's at over 20 every single game. So obviously that doesn't directly correlate here, but it's been good games.
2 touchdowns the first game, and then 109 and 104 yards. Just a beast. And if there is
other guys involved,
right? And if Tyreek Hill actually does have this like shoulder injury, and first week Tyreek Hill had like 17 targets or something silly, and then since then it's been substantially fewer. I think there might be an actual injury risk, and if that's the case, like they're just going to keep peppering Kelsey. I don't need to waste time. Like if you got that, it's in that card. I think going forward, you got to start deciding: do you put that?
That's actually we should maybe touch on that. I mean, I guess maybe not quite yet.
We'll have more time next week or two. Yeah,
it'll be an interesting one
once the game's live. But yeah, without a doubt, Island of Misfit cards. Those Kansas City tight ends arguably become one of the most valuable cards like on the site because they can be used there where you have to use a tight end. I'm trying to think. Can you go 2 defenses in that? I forgot what we.
No, you have to do one of each. One tight end, one defense. That's it.
So yeah, exactly. So you have to use a tight end, which makes it
right. So that card has just a significant edge over every other card in that game. But then, it's also like, okay, smaller prize pool than the main event by a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how people choose to decide according to that.
Right. And I think it's fantastic because some people are like, oh, this isn't fair. Like the Kansas City Titans are going to have so much of an advantage in the Island of Misfit cards. But also it helps out everyone who doesn't have those in the main event and the other ones so much more because you're just going to see far fewer of these Kansas City tight ends. So these strategic decisions give you an advantage if you can kind of play it out where you want to focus your efforts.
Yep. And I mean, I think a solid counterpoint by a Vikes fan is, okay, yeah, you lock that in, but then you're kind of also like, okay, I want the Kansas City tight end, but then I'm also going to roll the dice on the defense. So I want him in my main lineup. I think it's going to be a great discussion and decision each and every week.
Yeah. Also, just one thing to call out. I don't have the week 1 stats at my fingertips, although I'm pretty sure that the answer is, so Kansas City's been the top scoring tight end only one of the 3 weeks we've played so far. This past week, Dallas outscored them. The first week, Tampa Bay outscored them. They've all been close. Kansas City's absolutely the most consistent, right? But if you're playing in the Island of Misfit cards, you care about that upside, not that you care about that top score. And so Kansas City gives you the highest likelihood every week. But so far, they only would have won 1 out of the 3.
Yep. That's a very good point. And based off the first 3 weeks, Denver is actually the most important card because you could have played them each week and just smashed.
That's right.
Yeah, that's going to level out some once you start playing a little more tougher competition, but still. All right. So next up, we have Las Vegas. I don't believe I have had Las Vegas in my cards yet, which is surprising because big Darren Waller fan. I think he's probably, from a fantasy-wise, the second most valuable tight end out there. But they just don't score that many points. But I think in this game, we've seen that, the LA Thunderbolts are not great against the tight ends. I think it's sixth against the tight ends right now. We've seen that they're kind of a bend but don't break defense. And the amount that Las Vegas has been passing, their pass rate over expectation puts them at, I think, number 2 or 3 each week behind Tampa. He has the potential for just a huge breakout game. And I like the matchup here. I think this is where we could see Waller having that really big game. And then also San Francisco, another one who I did not, I guess I have been using them, but hasn't really been performing much. And a lot of it is just the lack of need by San Francisco to really get him involved in the game. I also think now that you've got Ayuk playing a bit more, like things are being spread out. So it's definitely not the smash card that some people maybe thought it was at the beginning of the season. But it still has probably as much upside as any other. And this week, let's see, they're going up against Seattle. I think they're 3-point favorites, projected to score 27. Like their running game is still kind of virtually nothing. You have like the Trey Lance aspects in the end zone, which is taken away from some of the touchdowns. I think he's now had 2 touchdowns maybe in the red zone there, or at least I think it was 2. Yeah, 1 week 1, 1 week 3. And so I think, hey, if they need it, if they need to, this turns into a shootout with Seattle where it's just a lot of throwing. This could be the game that Kittle kind of has that big breakout. So I don't want to miss out on that. He's got a decent kind of expectation, but the ceiling is still probably unmatched by anyone except for Kansas City. I think his ceiling is higher than Las Vegas just because of the amount of points that San Francisco puts up. All right, and the sleeper here, I'm going with Denver. I like the aspect that they still have multiple tight ends that are involved. The loss of KJ Hamler for the year is extremely painful for all of my best ball teams and just for his health and stuff. And that's horrible. But right now, no Jerry Jeudy, no KJ Hamler. If it's a game that they're going to need to pass, it's going to go it's going to be leveraging both their tight ends. And Baltimore's kind of interesting. Baltimore's not been the defense that we've expected, from years in the past. They're actually worst against tight ends, but they've also gone against Waller and Kelsey. Both Waller and Kelsey surpassed 100 yards on 21 targets. I kind of been like, well, I mean, hey, it's Waller and Kelsey, so of course they're going to go off. But I'm also like, well, it could be that, hey, you see the roadmap, you see how to kind of put up points, how you put up points against Baltimore. And so maybe Denver kind of follows that and leverages both tight ends. That's where I like them as a sleeper here. Get some good upside.
Yeah, I think, the only downside to Denver really, in any passing game is their defense is just so good that they're not going to be in many shootouts. And they've got that two-headed monster. Denver was your sleeper pick last week at running back. They smashed. So I do think that, you've got to really see a kind of a unique game script against Denver. Baltimore has in previous years shown the offense to do it, right? This year they've been pretty bad. Watching long touchdowns clank off Marquise Brown's hand last week were pretty tilting.
There was something like he left like 33 points on the field with those 3 drops. Like if you just expect that he would have caught it and then just continued walking forward into the end zone, like, oh, Marquise Brown, pain if you had the Baltimore QB or Baltimore wide receivers last week.
Yeah. Hate to see it. All right. So we've got all of our top teams here. So we must build our optimal 5 Joker lineup. And we're going to go this week with the Tampa Bay quarterback, Tom Brady. In Tom Brady, we trust. The man that will live forever and be the GOAT forever. We're rolling with him at the QB position. Tennessee running back, the big dog, Derrick Henry. Los Angeles wide receivers. Of course, the Kansas City tight end. And then the Buffalo defense. There we go, Justin. We are finally putting Buffalo players into play, but I have a feeling that you feel that it's the wrong side of the ball where we're employing the Buffalo people. If it was up to you, we'd probably have a quarterback and a wide receiver from Buffalo in the optimal.
Probably. But you know what? Hey, if we're going to fade the QB and the wide receiver, maybe that's because we got 2 defensive touchdowns and then the Buffalo just didn't need to pass as much. So it's the sharp contrarian play. Also, I mean, just matchup, absolute, like amazing matchup with Buffalo. How much are they a favor right now? Oh, yeah, 16 and a half. Whew. Yeah, easy card.
And also, they're number 2 in DVOA right now, according to Football Outsider. So not just the great matchup, but they're an absolutely good defense this year. So I think, yeah. I mean, I know you would have advocated for Buffalo because you don't think Tom Brady's the GOAT, like an idiot, but you'll be proven wrong.
Yes, Tom Brady's entire career makes my weekly decision.
Smart.
And there we have it. We will check in. Next week's going to be a fun one because one of you guys is just going to have a lot to say to the other pretty much explicitly based on how Buffalo performs, really. I mean, that's really what it came down to.
I got Kansas City in my back pocket too, but mainly Buffalo.
You got options. You got outs.
I got an out. I have an out.
All righty. What do you think? Should we jump into some? People have been crushing it on Prize Picks, no?
It has been insane. I'm
kind of mad because I personally can't play from that position, but I feel like we've just been crushing it.
Yeah. This isn't even all of them because I couldn't fit them all on the screen. But I think we ended up having like 35 people hit parlays, which are all at least like a 3-leg parlay. I think there's a 5-leg parlay in here that was hit. There's been a ton. So it's been fantastic. You can ask Bach. I've even been pretty decent myself, putting out some feelers out there. I think two of the games that I was putting some feels out there completely crushed. I think I went 4 out of 5 for one of them, and then 4 out of 4 on the other. So lots of people getting some tails there. I'll continue to be making my picks in the Prize Picks channel there. But I think we got some giveaways to Prize Picks, and then we got to make our picks for the game on Thursday night.
Yes, indeed. Should we run the giveaways first?
Yes, let me just explain once more what we're doing here. So anybody that wins a 3-legged, 4-legged, 5-legged parlay, a clean card, so you go 3 for 3, 4 for 4, 5 for 5. If you get a tie, we allowed that. There was one incident there. If you get that on Prize Picks, then reach out to me, send me a DM, a screenshot, and we will add you to the wheel. And one of these lucky people will win a TOC card, and we'll keep doing this each week. And then I think that's it for that, and then we'll make some Prize Picks tonight because I've got some ideas for the game tomorrow night.
Ooh, love it.
While this is spinning, Coop, go ahead and spin it. I will also say for the Prize Picks giveaway, the 2 free cards for people that signed up and followed the eligibility, deposit the 100 and make your first play. We will be giving those out shortly. I don't want to make promises, but it might even be tomorrow. But I have very, very high confidence we'll be able to get those out to you all this week. And the winner is Kelvin. Kelvin, congratulations. That parlay you hit got you a TOC card. I have your Discord. I'll probably reach out. We'll just need your MetaMask and we'll send you that TOC card. But congratulations. Well done. And the truth is everyone on this wheel is a winner because literally you have to be a winner to get on it. And I think Prize Picks might a little be regretting that. I'm sure in the long run they'll be happy, but short term, I think we're winning.
You're gonna break them, Justin. Come on.
There you go.
All right.
And as a reminder, if you haven't signed up for the 2 free card promo, it's still open. So
it is definitely still open. TJ, I'm going to steal the screen back.
Oh, good.
No, okay, yeah. Because I can actually. Because my location.
Oh, you're gonna pop it in there. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do it live. All right. I'm gonna show.
You know what's actually funny is that I was glad that we did the wheel first because I went to my Prize Picks and then I went to log in and then it said that my password was wrong and then I typed in like 3 passwords that I know and then all of them are wrong. So I was going through the whole forget password. Like that's what was happening while the wheel was going.
That's okay.
So if I would have known that, I would have just let it go the whole time.
There you go. Okay. So I do want to throw this out. So love the Prize Picks. I've primarily been doing where you actually have to go the 3 for 3. They do have the option where you can do the flex play, meaning you pick 3 and you say, hey, I only have confidence in 2. If 2 of them are correct, then you win. You don't win as much, but you still win some. Has less variance, but I think from an expected, it takes a couple percentage less, but it's really your choice. I'm going to give a quick ETR shout out though, because I'm going to give a little tease into my process here. If you are an Establish the Run subscriber, what they have is a Prize Picks props versus ETR projections, where they will literally take their projections that Leone is making and compare them to the actual prop Prize Picks projections that are live. And so what I'll do is now there's you don't want to take these as the holy grail because they're mean projections. We actually care a bit more about median outcomes rather than mean. I can just go into that later. And then 2 is when we make these picks, we want to go with that kind of game script aspect of, hey, I think this happens. How do I kind of play off that? But what I definitely start off by doing is like, hey, where are they way off? And so for the game tomorrow night, Cincinnati, I think there's some strong discrepancies here. So we see this right here is the projected difference and kind of what they have is yards. So his mean projection is 1 to 2.6 and the line is 83.5. Tyler Boyd is 18 above. You can also see if a percentage difference, like how much that is. These 2 are substantially higher than we normally see. So it makes me kind of want to say, hey, let's just say that, Cincinnati is going to play faster than we expect. It's going to be a high scoring game. I probably want to go with a Joe Mixon and a Tyler Boyd. If you're doing that, you may as well consider doing the stack of the Joe Burrow here, and then you're throwing one on the other side or one other random one as well. I think that's what my play would be here, and that's just kind of a, hey, you do have to be a subscriber for ETR, but highly recommend it. If not, then maybe find projection somewhere else, and it's a bit more manual. But I think that's where I would kind of do my process for how to kind of start with this stuff. Does that make sense, Bach? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm very similar. And I can't play Prize Picks, but that's because I'm in Virginia where we have legal sports betting. I've been doing a lot of the same stuff. In fact, using ETR. I know, we're both fans of theirs, but I think that's exactly right. I think that the two things for Prize Picks are like, if you can find a couple of projections that are off, great, go get them. But the game script and the building a narrative is where you're really going to be successful, because you need to hit 3 out of 3, right? And you might find 3 great projections off, but if they're in different directions, figuring out how you actually hit that becomes less likely. And so I think that's where, find some projections that you like, some, wherever you get them, make it kind of understand where you think there's some edge in the projections, but then build a game script that allows those projections to all hit together.
So question here, Bachman, because normally I don't want a running back if I'm going over here for more than 83 yards when I'm also expecting them to be passing a bunch. So even though, ETR has this Joe Mixon as just way lopsided, I think I kind of want to not use it and instead just go Boyd and Burrow over and then see if we have something on the Jacksonville side. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think you could even go I don't know that I like all three of Mixon, Burrow, and Boyd. I think you could easily go with any kind of 2 of those, and it probably makes the least sense to go with Burrow and Mixon. But I think you could go Burrow and Boyd or Mixon and Boyd. I think there's paths to either of those 2 hitting together. I wouldn't then go like a James Robinson over, though, right, in terms of rushing yards, because it's hard to imagine that game script working out. So, if we want to stick with pass catchers for Cincinnati, great. I think Mixon and Boyd is fine because you can talk yourself into a shootout, kind of higher tempo, higher plays, total plays game where they both hit because they're already, their mean projection is already pretty high over the line here.
So what about James Robinson with the under here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a James Robinson believer. I think that works, though, for your game script. He's not been playing nearly as much as I think a lot of people would have liked for him to play. And I think that there's just a passing script. Like, that's what Jacksonville is more built to do anyways. And if you're presuming that Tyler Boyd and Joe Burrow are going to be doing well, you can imagine that they might be passing as well.
I'm sorry, did I say under? I didn't think that was an option.
Sorry, but we are not the overs club. That's already been patented and trademarked, and they've run out of jackets. Because it's tough, because with Jacksonville, Bach, I also get the argument that, hey, maybe Jacksonville is actually doing really well, and so Cincinnati needs to throw to catch up. But I don't have confidence in Jacksonville. I'm not a huge James Robinson believer. I think this is what I'm favoring. What do you think? Should we lock it in?
I love it.
All right. We've locked it in. That's what we're going with on the show. We will dive further into things, in the Prize Picks channel and stuff. But as we dive a bit more deeper into this game and other ones this weekend.
Yep. Yeah. So there you have it. And again, if you guys have not signed up already and you're in a state where you're eligible to do so, head on over prizepicks.com, sign up with promo code TOC. You will get a 100% bonus up to $100. And if you deposit $100 or more, you'll also get 2 free TOC cards. So that promotion is still up and running. Definitely check it out if you have not already. And again, you are in a state that is eligible.
I think that promotion is going to run until there are no more single cards available by us or reach the 500. We are not close to 500. It was just, I think states are a little limiting and stuff because there are only certain states that can make it. But yeah, it's basically $200 free if you deposit the 100. So definitely benefits there. But we also have a new partner that is throwing $1,000 at TOC members for free. Should we dive in a little here?
Yeah, that sounds good. $1,000 for free is good, right, Doc?
I like free. I'm a big free guy.
So $1,000.
A lot of people like free, as we found out. Sorry, I'll shut up.
That's true. That is. So $1,000 prize pool for their free roll, and this is legitimately a free roll. No purchase, no deposit necessary to play the free roll. The way that this works is rather than like if Prize Picks, you've got to beat the house. Here, you don't go against any book or any house. You go against other competitors, and it kind of makes it a DFS style, a contest style, over under with players. And so big thing here, we only have 53 people in. This will go live Sunday. Basically, if you join right now and you get last place, you will get $5. If you finish in about the top third, you get 10 and so forth. That's where those $1,000 are coming from here. And then they are also throwing in 5 free TOC cards to the top 5. So currently top 10% are also going to get a free TOC card. I got to do a bit more research, but you can see basically there are 20 different props. They go with like the high profile names, the ones that people are familiar with. You choose 10 of them. And I think the most interesting aspect is the points on each aren't the same. So for example, here, Damian Harris, 1.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. If you think he's going to get 2, you can actually do it and take 135 points, or under, you take the more likely one in 65. But when you're going against other people, there's that strategy aspect of how contrarian, how kind of against the grain, how kind of crazy do I get with my picks? So I like this new format. And as we said, so it's a free contest. All you got to do is sign up. You just got to be in one of those locations. You enter the free roll. If you do deposit at least $20, then you also get access into the 50K pool this weekend. And there's an exclusive Monday night one for just Owners Club members as well. So head on over there, check out the TOC giveaways channel in the Discord, where we have a bit more information, as well as kind of the link and anything else that you need. Cool. The whole prop thing I think is really interesting because we've seen. So you have the sports betting that's been around forever, the Vegas, the underground, whatever it is. You then have the DFS, which was probably a solid 7-8 years with about 4 or 5 years in the middle where things were just crazy and everyone kind of gets that feel. The fantasy sports aspect as well. And I think it just has increased people's familiarity with like projecting players rather than a game. And I think most people understand that like trying to project the score of a game, like it's fun and such, but Vegas and like the bookies are just so accurate there that these props are where people kind of have a bit more of an edge or an advantage. And a lot of it really is just because when they're making those projections, 2 things are coming into play. One, they put out the projections that are kind of completely computer generated. It's all, based off kind of projections, recent results, as well as current opponent and stuff. And like, there's going to be flaws in there because there's human elements that aren't included. Once people start betting it, then they start reacting. So there is an advantage to kind of hitting those as soon as the lines come. And Prize Picks is one of the ones that comes out as soon as possible. Thrive Fantasy has taken the other approach where it's, hey, you don't have to beat the house. You just got to beat Joe next door. And I think these new waves of games and innovation around this space. So it's not just traditional sports betting DFS kind of thing. I think it's really interesting. I like it. Love it.
Endless formats. But I feel like the coolest format is kind of like when you combine NFTs with it, but that's for the people to decide. Okay. We have one last thing on the agenda for tonight. Ryan asked it in the chat and we are going to bring on everyone's favorite producer Coop onto the screen to run the Prize Picks giveaway. What's up?
Not Coop? Prize Picks. So this is the Twitter one. This was when we had the drop. When we had the pre-order, we kind of asked for some help to help spread the news and such. And what we were doing is first we were giving away 2 cards, individual cards to I don't want to say our absolute favorite tweets, but ones that we really enjoyed. They made us chuckle. They gave us a smile. I would say almost all of them really were fantastic. Really some nice and heartfelt things. I think we had over 230 or so. So really appreciate that. But for this one, hey, we had to pick 2 of them. And so let me see what I got here. Let's, I know we already saw that slide, but what about before? All right. These were 2 of the tweets that we hand selected to win the free card. So first off, Brian Ho, I'm going to read this out, but love the community, the trades, the prizes, the support, strategy talks, fantasy football and NFTs. What's not to like? Oh, and there's a cyborg named SB Mitchell who is pushing out updates in UI and customer service improvements every day. So to our cyborg Mitchell, SB Mitchell, congratulations. Thank you very much, Brian Ho. We completely agree that it is nice for a bot to have a cyborg to hang out with.
I literally spit coffee out when I read that. I was reading these tweets in the morning. They were such a pick-me-up. I was absolutely loving every one of them. And then I came across Brian's, and I legitimately spit coffee out. I was crying, laughing. As everyone in the community knows, SB Mitchell basically doesn't sleep. It can certainly be classified as a cyborg at this point. So that was just absolutely hilarious. It was too good. It's a great tweet there, Brian.
That was great. And then on the second one, we have from M Luciak _TS. So Michael. I dig the Owners Club because recently I knew 0 about football, and now I know non-zero. Bonus joy. Without knowing the team names and only having pictures, I can come up with ridiculous new names, like New Orleans Black Popes of football, or Green Bay Big Cheese. Or I believe the Team Hold, the Zakarian show, came up with the Los Angeles Thunder Horses. Great names, but we appreciate it. Michael, thank you very much making us laugh there. Some great names for these teams, but congratulations. Each of you will receive a TOC card. I will be reaching out over the next day or so on Twitter to make sure we get your MetaMask, but congratulations. And now,
nice.
Amazing.
The grand prize is a randomly selected person who's going to get a pack, an entire pack.
Ooh, full pack.
I don't think we've ever given away a pack. Is this the first time?
No.
I think this might be the first time. But yeah, these quote tweets were man, they were awesome, huge pick-me-ups. I think well-deservingly earns a pack for a random person. Now, I will say this is going to get a little interesting because, of course, it's really hard to randomize quote tweets. So typically we're able to run, analysis, and we're able to run the export of who retweets and who does all that. So quote tweets, I just assumed, you'd be able to do the same thing. But, matter of fact, it's a lot more difficult to get people who quote tweeted. So we're going to lean on my crappy computer here, and I'm just going to kind of scroll around on these quote tweets. It's going to be blank screen, and we're going to kind of stop randomly, and that person's going to win a pack. So not the most sophisticated way.
Close your eyes.
Not the most sophisticated way to run a giveaway, but if you need to bitch at somebody for the lack of sophistication here, you can blame me. So
I'm the one who mentioned the quote tweet, but there wasn't any other way to do it.
Yeah, the Herzog bot usually he just comes up with ideas and we just fire and roll with it and figure it out afterwards. This is one where the whole figuring it out afterwards, it just didn't work out that well.
SB Mitchell
could do it.
We are not.
One time, SB Mitchell said to me, "We can do anything." He was literally just like, "We can do anything. It's just a matter of how much time it takes." So yes, he definitely could have done it, but there's much more important things that SB Mitchell needs to be doing.
All right.
I
think we do a countdown.
Oh, this is great. The classic "I can't see my name." That's so good.
Yeah, I can't see my name. Hashtag
do a
stop.
countdown? 4.
Yeah, count it down for us.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
What do we got?
We're going up.
We got? All right, it's the one on the top. It is.
Sorry, let me get it. It's Ryan Zake.
Ryan.
Zake. I believe Zake is in the chat.
Oh, he's the one who asked about the Twitter giveaway.
The one? Yeah. Is this
Rigged.
the same guy? It is.
Rigged. It's funny
Definitely
because it was almost Chewy Wolves as well, who just
I know, I saw that pop up for a second.
Trip as well. Yeah,
I was scrolling there, so making sure we were stopped at a certain point.
There he is. Hey, I love the profile pic too.
Oh, the
Little
Joker.
Joker action.
That's wrong. Rigged.
So-
Rigged.
We'll read this out, even though everyone will claim that it is rigged. But TOC is reinventing the DFS fantasy sport industry. This is the future: ownership and utility. So glad I was able to get involved. It's been the most fun I've had playing fantasy football. Good chance for others to get involved. The last drop of the season. So appreciate all of the quote tweets. It really was a huge pick me up. And congratulations to the random winners.
Cheers, Ryan. Shoot me a DM on Twitter or Discord, and we'll get you that pack. We just need MetaMask.
Ryan's in the chat every show.
Yes.
Right.
I just want to give a shout out.
As long as I can remember.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Plunge Father, who unfortunately got gypped when he did a giveaway, and somebody reached out to him with a fake Twitter name and like a letter missing or whatever, and those people out there, yeah. So we're careful. We're careful. We know that there's some scammers out there, but no one in this community. Yeah. Congrats, Ryan. Congrats to the other two as well. Well done.
Awesome. Is that it for the night, gentlemen? I think that was everything.
That is it. I'll do one last shout out. If you haven't go back to the TOC giveaways, make sure you are registered. We have the Thursday night contest tomorrow night. We have both the NFL tickets and the TOC cards, the this or that. We have the Thrive Fantasy one. The link is there, the free roll, and then all the benefits that go with that. Obviously, the prize pick stuff. And I do want to say we are continuing to find partners. We understand that some of them are location prohibited and such. So we're still looking. We're still going to try to find as many as possible. And basically, the goal is we just want to bring as much value as possible to the TOC community. And hey, I actually had someone reach out who's kind of helping us with a contact as well. If you have any ideas, if you have any relationships, if you have anything, or you just something, hey, I think this would be a good partner, reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do.
Love it. Yep. Just trying to expand this community, create as many opportunities for all of you as we can. So we're going to shut it down for tonight. Best of luck in all of the contests. Make sure, if you have not already, go out, grab your pre-orders, and good luck in the contest on Sunday. We'll be back on Monday with the weekly NFT kickoff, and we will certainly be diving deep into the NFL Dapper partnership and what we expect to see out of that. So I think Monday's show is going to be one of the better ones in a while. I feel like it's the first time in quite a bit where we're going to have a nice deep dive topic. So looking forward to that.
And there's running back.
And run it. Yeah. Wow. That's right. I basically forgot about that because I'm so focused on that. Yeah. Monday is going to be great. So any of those people out there that are like, when Top Shot, next Monday, Top Shot coming to you live from In the Moment. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys then. So on behalf of Justin, Bach, and producer Coop, I'm TJ Lasig. We'll see you guys next time.